Hey, you guys. It's been a bit again. It, September was a rough month. Reading wise, life wise. I was sick for about like 2.5 weeks of September. And then I had like an existential crisis about like life and what I want to do, and ended up deciding that I'm just going to put a pause on school for a while, maybe indefinitely. I'm not quite sure, but we're just going to do that. My allergies are acting up right now, so I'm all like, but I'm like, I got to film a video. I got to do this. I haven't filmed in like a month. So yeah, we're here. We're doing it. I apologize in advance for the craziness of it. But it's October. It is October 7th as of right now. And I haven't read anything yet. Hold on. And I'm back. I'm trying editing again, maybe. We'll see. But yes, so I just have to do this. That might happen a lot, so we'll just deal with this as it comes. But yeah, I only ended up finishing one book in the month of September. So we're just combining my wrap up and my TBR all in one spot, because there's no point in filming a second video to talk about one book. And the book that I finished was Tom Lake by Ann Patchett, which was my book club book for September. I loved this book. If you are an audiobook person, I highly recommend the audiobook. It is narrated by Meryl Streep. And she does a fantastic job, as Meryl Streep does with all things in her life. It is a book set in Michigan during the pandemic. And it's the mom and the main narrator who's telling the whole story. It jumps back and forth between past and present of her life as she's telling the story of her life. And that basically she dated this movie star when she was younger and wanted to be an actress and all these things. And her daughters want to hear this whole story because they didn't realize that she dated him or whatever the pieces are, but they want to hear the story of when they dated and how that looked. And it's just a wonderful story, and there's lots of twists and turns, and you're kind of trying to figure out things as they go along, figure out how the pieces connect to one another. It's fantastic. As a theater person, the backdrop of it is Our Town, the play, by Thornton Wilder, I think. It doesn't say anywhere on here. I don't know why I was looking. But this book is phenomenal. So if you're a theater person, if you just love literary fiction or you love whatever, it's a phenomenal book. Loki's going to come say hi, though, here in just a second. So yeah, so this is the only book that I finished in the entirety of September. You want to say hi? He's mad that I'm not sitting up on my bed so that he can cuddle with me. Hey, you want to come say hi? Oh. Say hi. Yeah. Hi. He'll probably scream here in a little bit. Yeah. You've got a set of vocal cords on you, for sure. He's standing on my lap right now. He's about 2 feet tall. He's the size of a toddler. It's fun. And now on to the books that I hope to read in October. There are 12 or 13 books on this list. Way higher than I've read since school has started. But I hope to read half of them. I'm kind of aiming high, and if I get there, great. If not, whatever. It's just kind of that era of time of like, I'm kind of being like a moody reader and like picking up what I want, but there's a wide array here for what I might want to read. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first few books, well, I guess I'll talk about, I just have them all in front of me. I'm trying to decide where to go first. The first book that I'm going to talk about is my book club book pick for October, and that is Honey and Spice by Bolu Babalola. This is all I remember is that it's romance and kind of just like fun. It was the Reese's Book Club pick, which actually we've now read 2 Reese's Book Club picks in a row. Did not realize that at all. And just that, I mean, the New York Times book review says it's sexy, messy, and wry. Honey and Spice more than... What are you trying to do? He fit through that tiny little opening. More than delivers. So there's that. And yeah, so I'm excited to get to this. It'll be an interesting book club conversation for sure. And yeah, so that one's gonna be quite fun. So we'll have to finish that one in some way, shape, or form. You're gonna lay down on my lap while we do this. Is that what's gonna happen here? Is my lap not big enough for you? Loki's just gonna do laps here. The second book that I want to talk about has been on a few... Oh, you're gonna just sit next to me? Maybe? No? You don't really know what to do? Yeah. You can just see him just a little bit. The next couple books I'm going to talk about have been on a few TBRs. And the first of which is One Less Problem Without You by Beth Harbison. This has been on my TBRs since August, I believe. And it is a fairly fun book. I've started it. I now have lost the use of my right arm. He's laying completely on it. But it is kind of just a fun book, and I want to just finish it. So because I've been working on it little by little, I'm not much into it. I'm only like a chapter or 2 in. But I do want to just kind of finish it. So that's why that is on my TBR for this month. Because I would like to just finish it. Let's see there. Just see if I can show you this. Here we are. Yep. We're just hanging out. No idea if that frame is exactly correct. We're gonna live there. Alright, so then are you a booktube kitty now? Yeah, I think yes. And then the next book that I want to talk about is a book that I haven't finished yet, and I know I'm a terrible human. But that is Chalice of the Gods by Rick Riordan. I did not finish it before the second book came out, but I will finish it. I might actually honestly like just power through this one tonight, because it doesn't take long once I just start sitting down reading it, because it's middle grade. And I was having so much fun with it. I just haven't picked it up in a month. So that's kind of hard to finish a book if you don't pick it up and read it. So there's that. It'll be the most awkward book filming now because I don't have the use of my right arm due to this one in my lap. And then the next book kind of fits hand in hand with that. Completely just messed up my hair. Glad no one cares about that. And that is Wrath of the Triple Goddess by Rick Riordan, Book 2, in what is now being called the Senior Year Adventures. There are some people in the world, and I don't disagree with them, that are a little frustrated that the type color on the spine is different. They've added the Senior Year Adventures Book 2 tagline to the cover. Like, they don't look that different next to one another, but this has a 2 up here instead of this going all the way up to the top. They're just slightly different on the spines, and like the type color's different. Like I'm not quite sure why they decided to do that. It's fine. It's close enough for me to not get like they're the same height, like that kind of thing. But it is a little frustrating that they're just a little off, just a little. And then the next book that I'm having on my list is because it just kind of gives off like spooky vibes. And so I was going to bump it to next month because I never got to it. But now I'm feeling like, well, it's kind of like a spooky book. And that is The Sun and the Star by Rick Riordan, I'm Mark Oshiro, the Nico D'Angelo adventure with him and Will Solis. They go to Tartarus. They go to the underworld. That feels very Halloween. Oh, Loki is done. He said goodbye. I think you could see his tail wave a little bit. But it just feels very Halloween, like, time, because like, it takes place in Tartarus. So, I'm leaving this one on my TBR for the month. If not, it'll bump to November. It's much larger, you can tell, than, like, it's both of these combined, basically, in one book. So, we'll see where that ends up. But, for now, that one's also on my TBR. We'll just keep rolling through these. The next two books, I think, have been on my October TBR for the last 6 years. Maybe this is going to be the year. And that is Gilda Joyce and the Dead Drop, and then Ghosts of the Holy, or Bones of the Holy, by Jennifer Allison. These are the 4th and 5th books in the Gilda Joyce series. They are very Halloween. They are very spooky. They are a middle grade horror mystery novel. So more middle grade mystery than horror per se. But I don't want to read these books outside of October. It doesn't feel like an outside of October type of read. I have just found that Hoopla at my library has these on audio. I think that's going to be the winner. I think these are going to be kind of a lunch or driving audiobook read for me. I can passively enjoy them and then be done. I've loved all of these books, but they are very middle grade. And I have just had them and I felt like attached to them. And so I can't just like not read them. And they feel very Halloween themed. So I just, want to be able to read them, but I can't ever make myself read them. So this is hopefully the year. The next book is another middle grade book, of sorts. And that is, and I have 2 copies of it, is A Wrinkle in Time by, Madeleine L'Engle. So I have both, a copy that I just purchased for myself because I know I had the copy somewhere. I could not find it. And then I also have the school where I work's copy it was last checked out in 2018. So she's like, keep it for as long as you want. And then I'm probably going to get rid of it because obviously kids aren't reading it. I am currently directing a play adaptation of this book. And so I wanted to reread it before we did casting, and that just didn't happen because I was sick and just like not vibing with life. So I never got around to it. So I do want to read it this month before the show happens, just to kind of get into this world a little bit more than I already am, because I'm already living it. The last time it was stamped was in 2004, which we don't stamp books anymore, but it was stamped like 6 times in 2004, and that's it. So there's that. I'm just gonna stick these down here because I'm running out of shelf room. The next book is kind of a fun book. I just picked it up at Target because there was a sale. I know I said I wasn't gonna buy any more books, and then I did. Oh well, I don't really care. And that is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This has been floating around Book Talk like for the last couple months, and it feels very fall. And so I will either read it in October or November. It feels very like this time frame. I was already gonna listen to the audiobook or pick up the ebook version of it. But then when it was on sale at Target, I was like, well, I gotta get it. Obviously. And so I'm just throwing it into my October TBR in case I get to it and I want just a fun, fluffy romance. And if not, it'll be read in November. So there's no pressure there because this is a very, very fall book. So it can be read in any time frame. And the next book that I am officially throwing onto a TBR is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I want to read this one and Iron Flame before the 3rd comes out in January. And so I have a couple months to read all these books, and I've heard nothing but amazing things, and I cannot wait. But I'm just throwing it on because, again, this is very fall, and I got to read them before January. I got 3 months, so We got to get them done. Can it fit? Oh, it fits just right. Had another sneeze break. The last two books are two historical fiction. One is nonfiction, one is fiction, but they are two historical novels. And the first is The Paris Library by Janet Skelslin Charles. And this is a book about a library in Paris during World War II. Shocking, I know, that I'm reading another World War II historical fiction novel, but I love them. And so I'm very interested to see yet another book set in this time frame. And also it's a dual perspective because it takes place in Paris 1939 and then Montana 1983. So we get to see a dual perspective and in theory see the woman from 1939 in two timelines is my assumption, but we shall see on where this rolls. I'm out of space on my shelf. Will it fit? It will fit. There we go. And then the last book is When Women Ruled the World, Making the Renaissance in Europe by Maureen Killigan. This is a book about my women. Mary Queen of Scots, Catherine de Medici, Mary Tudor, Elizabeth I, all of those people, and how, when they ruled and how they ruled. And it is a fiction novel, so this could take me, or not a fiction, it is a non-fiction novel. So this could take me a couple months to kind of read through because I'm not listening to it like I did the other one. But I'm very excited because these are my people. Like this is the era that I love. Mary Queen of Scots is my human. I love her to pieces. And then by extension, Catherine de Medici was her mother-in-law. Elizabeth I was her enemy. Mary Tudor was some sort of relation to her. So there's these people that they are all four connected in such amazing ways. And there's a lot, and I'm very excited to read that. So that is all the books that I hope to read in October and the one book that I read in September. I'm hopeful for this month. I'm hopeful for every month, and it never works out. So we'll see. We shall see how this month goes, what I read, what I don't, figuring out how life looks now, and saving up for a house. So, lots of things for the future that I'm very excited for and feel good about now that I feel a little bit more settled in life. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's it for this video, guys. If there are any other suggestions, I might try out some other forms of video in the future, doing kind of more review videos as I have time and things like that. But just kind of trying to figure out what this looks like with my schedule because I love making videos and I really do want to do this more and have this be a little bit more of a focus. So Loki has come to say goodbye at the end of the video. Would you like to say goodbye? Are you going to scream or should I say goodbye for you? He said goodbye for himself. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys all in my next video whenever that happens to be. Goodbye.